the 2023 Philadelphia 76ers. What an absolute travesty of an ending to what's supposed to be a promising season, title aspirations, championship or bust, having two multiple time scoring champs on the roster, 2 MVPs, only to getting absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, humiliated, decimated, ran off the court by the better Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics, an absolute all-time Game 7 stinker, the MVP of the NBA. Decided to play his worst game of the season, 5 of 18 from the field, absolutely concealed. We thought you were made out of steel. Play like he didn't even eat a meal. He ain't as good as Jokic, let's be real. Second round exits year after year, looking very ideal. No more gas in the pedal, a broken wheel. Not a locomotive, no batteries in your automobile. The franchise, please get rid of James Harden. I beg you pardon, will save Philly a huge bargain. Big time games, play ball like it was foreign. 3 of 11, 5 turnovers, the beard absolutely disappeared. Losing must-win games, number 1 volunteered. Second round exit, Harden ready to put up his strip club gear. No ball, summer nightlife, Houston premiered. Doc Rivers, the king of blown lead shivers. Game 7 time simply never delivers. Outscored 33-10 in the third. Tatum reminded you of Larry Bird 35 years ago. Mr. Legend left your team in a hellhole. From failing Blake, CP, Kawhi, and PG, you be ringless without KG. Most overrated coach in the NBA gets destroyed in big games like cockroach. Always a 3-2 blown lead, nothing will ever help him stop the bleed. And Daryl Morey, y'all say Harden better score than Jordan? Say y'all sorry, no rings, no glory. Nothing in the clutch, go sign Robert Horry. What a pathetic disgrace of a failure. The franchise simply not good enough for messing up many lottery busts. The fact that Brian Colangelo got played by the team that knocked off Philly 3 times in the postseason. After having a chance to get Jason Tatum, Boston knowing the Sixers were foolish enough to take Markelle Fultz. Joel versus Boston come postseason time, care way too much about winning MVP. All of a sudden became the most vulnerable player. The worst points margin drop off from any MVP we've seen from regular season action, relying too much on drawing dumb fouls, falling 10 times every game. That's more than Jokic this entire season. Absolutely no debate in the Jokic conversation. Case officially closed. Shot below 50% these playoffs 8 out of 9 times, only happened to Jokic 5 total times all season. Locked up by 36-year-old Al Horford, an all-time disaster class for an MVP, just as bad as 2007 Dirk, worst Golden State, super passive, scared of the moment, slow decision making when getting double teamed. Jokic in Joel's position would have added 3 more assists every game instead of the forced turnovers, super undecisive. After Mazzulla had the bigger Robert Williams start game 6, slowed down and beat the latter 2 games. 7 full seasons, still never made it past the second round. Jokic already advanced twice. Joel never having an amazing playoff series against a top 3 seed, cooked by Tatum all game 7, hunting the MVP relentlessly, looked helpless out there. Many couldn't tell if it was him or Jahlil Okafor on defense. The most underachieved MVP we've seen will turn 30 years old next season and still no conference finals. Philly fans can't even give him any type of pass. Yes, we knew he was hurt from struggling in the Nets series. Joel came up short in many crucial games, 0 of 3 in Game 7 all time. Last season, Game 6 vs Miami, 7 of 24 from the field, 20 points, 8 turnovers vs Atlanta, Game 7 2 years ago, 6 of 18 for 21 points, Game 7 in Toronto, while Kawhi Leonard had 41. What happened there, Joel? If Embiid continues to disappoint, his 2023 MVP will be mocked for years, given the fact that the best player in the game ended up making second team All-NBA and prevented from a three-peat because one media member decided to make the award about race, and Mark Jackson totally leaving out Embiid's so-called rival, not including the Nuggets superstar, in top 5 voting. These scoring titles in MVP don't matter if you can't go far. Dominating in the postseason and contending for championships should always be the #1 priority for every superstar whose team has the pieces to contend. Playing too much like a guard in a 7-foot body, Joel simply needs a go-to guy like a Devin Booker or Trae Young in the clutch to close out. Joel's simply not that guy trying to hunt for fouls. It doesn't work in the playoffs. Also need a better co-star than Mr. Playoff choke past his prime James Harden. Absolutely terrible. Most overrated scorer all time. Scared of the moment. Just like all the chokes starting from the 2012 finals to losing to San Antonio 2017 at home, strip clubbing after like the game never happened, all the brick threes game 7 2018 to 5 straight second round exits since, the soon to be 34-year-old simply won't have it every night. One great game followed by 2 terrible ones. I don't give him as much blame as Joel, since Harden actually balled out for 2 games this series, but 22 points in 84 minutes the last 2 games with a chance to clinch, a -40 combined, 7 of 27, 1 of 11 from deep, audition for his best Brick Ross impression. James Harden likely will never win an NBA championship, doesn't have that killer instinct. Let's be honest, he shit the bed how many times with Houston? Not built for May and June. All the rumors about going back to H-Town, can't wait to have all the fun at the nightclubs without trying to compete for a title on a better team, simply doesn't want it enough. The king of all playoff chokes. Kudos to the Boston Celtics, deserving plenty of credit for showing championship quality when it looked like Philly was going to close out in 6, a 2-point lead, last field goal from the 6:13 mark, to choking and scoring their next basket with 22 seconds left when the game out of reach. A more balanced Boston team. Tatum responded, doing what many all-time greats would have done. Joel and Harden simply doesn't have the it factor. If it wasn't for PJ Tucker's leadership, Philly likely would have folded and swept. And Doc overrated Rivers, who wouldn't have had a head coaching job 3 years ago if it wasn't for the 08 title team. Only lives on that reputation. Franchise wasted no time firing him, did not make the Sixers any better than Brett Brown. The king of bad luck meltdowns, but to be fair, a better head coach ain't helping without Embiid stepping up. Another alpha dog shot maker, most important. Tobias Harris simply not that guy. What a waste of a contract. And James Harden, we're all out on him, especially against the Giannis, Tatum, and Jimmy Butlers of the world. Otherwise, no chance against those 3 teams next season. Giving up every 3-2 lead in the most unimaginable ways, whether it's guys like LeBron dominating or Josh Mipp going full Steph Curry mode against Doc. It's not a bad accident if we've seen the same movie over and over again. Double-digit Game 7 losses, a record 17-33 when his team having a chance to close the series, Doc outcoached by rookie Joe Mazzulla, and y'all thought I left the pathetic Ben Simmons off the hook after drawing the most attention to himself in months by posting an IG story including his former squad lose. Simmons by far the biggest loser this season. It'd be a miracle if he ever gets playing time in the second round again. The biggest scam of a travesty. At least Embiid and Harden wasn't as bad as scoring 1 point on 0 baskets made against Boston. How many playoff games you win this year, Ben Simmons? Why didn't you suit up against your former squad and try to beat them? Cause you soft like marshmallow. Simmons should be the last person to draw negative attention to himself. How about working on your game and becoming a normal player again? While Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler, another absolute travesty. After leaving the Sixers, joining a team with no true all-stars, Jimmy Buckets, 3 conference finals since, overachieving in a way weaker supporting cast, while the overpaid Harris, 37.6 mil, put up a pathetic 2 points, 1 of 7 shooting game 6, 42 minutes, and 39 million next season to average just 15 points these playoffs. The pathetic free agent max signing continues to haunt this team. Every player past their mid-20s who never became an all-star should never be deserving of a max contract. Just an above average player making superstar money will continue getting roasted for the Jimmy Butler mention. Philly honestly should trade him if they get the chance. Elton Brand could have used Harris' contract on OG Anunoby and KCP2 for 1 deal. Overall, Sixers, not the biggest travesty these playoffs. It was super impressive itself that they did take a 3-2 series lead on the favorite Celtics. Many had them losing in the semis anyway, so let's not get it twisted. But it's the way they lost, failing to put up a fight, ran out the gym. Had Embiid had a 35-point game in a narrow Game 7 loss, you live with it. But no conference finals since 2001, the team had their best chance with Jimmy Butler, and who knows, they might have won if the game went to OT if it wasn't for Kawhi's shot. From the hinky-tanky Michael Carter-Williams days to constantly striking out on lottery picks, from trading for the awful Nerlens no-factor Noels to taking another center Jaleel out the NBA for 2 years Okafor when they already had Embiid recovering and still having back-to-back #1 picks, Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz, both underachievers. It took Boston using Brooklyn's lottery picks, landing JB and JT, 2 of the best players in their respective classes. Imagine the Sixers went with Porzingis instead of Jaleel, Ingram or Brown over Simmons. and Tatum over Fultz. Heck, even Ingram, Embiid, and a Butler duo would have probably made Jimmy stay due to B.I.'s strong work ethic compared to the weak-minded Simmons, only striking gold on one franchise player in Embiid and sabotaging the team's record for years. The process has been viewed upon as playoff contenders since 2018 now, and still can't get past more than round 1 in the fucking postseason. When Tatum outscored the team 16-13 fourth quarter of Game 6, they were screwed to begin with, and Joel having the audacity saying him and James needs more help when both combined 8 of 29 Game 7? That's inexcusable, and beats better than that. And yes, Ben Simmons was terrible against Atlanta, but Joel and Doc to throw Ben under the bus when both also weren't good? No more excuses. Whatever happens next regular season doesn't matter if he can't get out the second round. Extending Tyrese Maxey will have a heavy price, but if Dame Lillard's available in the trade, the 22-year-old will be included in the big package. Will Daryl Morey get rid of James Harden since he's not good enough to pair with Joel against the top teams? This Philly team wouldn't even have beaten Miami due to choking in crunch time. If Joel doesn't get an elite perimeter-oriented shot maker and great passer to run the offense, I can see Embiid's tenure end with the Sixers in 2 years. Being super injury prone, not getting any younger, will turn 30 before next playoffs. The best opportunity might have already passed. Makes this Game 7 defeat even more devastating. From not having to play Milwaukee in round 3 while up 3-2 against Boston, Joel could have been playing Jokic these finals for a hysterical showcase, but failed to win more than one series. There is absolutely no comparison. The media needs to apologize for leaving the incredible Joker out of first team All-NBA. These playoff jokes now on Joel and the Philadelphia second round failures.